Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically the part is 21 of the PHP basically. So one of the person told that yeah, the person basically who are into the cost cutting, they exactly basically check the system basically. But people basically never likes that basically. Why? Because cost cutting is ongoing basically. But people will never like the system basically. Why? Because the testing of the system is ongoing, and when basically you are checking the live system basically, for example in America basically one of the person basically, I don't know what his name is basically, might be some American president group basically, he started doing the cost cutting basically, but actually he was doing the cost cutting, but actually he was testing the stuff basically, testing the system basically, but somebody basically not liked him. By who basically? Who created the America basically? But that time basically American president basically was not supposed to fire him basically. So that was basically his defeat basically. In really basically it was he fired that person basically. He actually not fired basically. That person actually resigned there. So he was not supposed to accept the resignation letter basically. He accepted, that means he got defeated basically there. He basically surrendered against the group basically who created the America basically. Here basically he was actually testing the stuff basically. Cost cutting means that only basically. Cost cutting basically means he was testing the stuff basically. But here basically American president basically was not able to understand the real Chanakya Niti basically. Real Chanakya Niti means politics basically. That is called as a politics who basically created the real American basically. Who are basically the real sponsor of the America basically. So that basically America responsibility basically. Here basically the president was not supposed to accept the resignation letter basically. Or basically it might possible that basically it is America basically. They basically never disclose the stuff. It might possible that he might have tested everything basically. That possibilities, because we can't ignore America, it's the American group basically, but they have not given me the job, that is different thing. So that is America basically. So one of the person told that that is the real world basically, that is the real world. So here one of the person told that power supply basically only gives the power, they basically don't do anything basically. The energy companies power, the energy companies nuclear power company, they basically keeps on doing the process of power basically. Even basically the train basically which is ongoing now basically, they are also basically into this only basically. They do the process basically, and then only basically the power supply comes to the normal public basically. So it's not basically so easy, it's very dangerous basically to run the world only. It's very dangerous basically, I'm telling you, mark my word basically. The person basically who are into the satellite basically, they are doing the most dangerous task basically, because they are basically, you can say, they are also doing the cost cutting basically, that also you can say basically, they are doing very dangerous stuff basically. So you can't do anything to them basically. So one of the person told that, one person basically told that uh, energy companies, power companies, they get basically do the process of the energy stuff, and that basically converts into the gas format basically, and that gas format is the real power supply data basically. Then one person told that what is this power company doing basically? So they basically are collecting the land data. So one person told that yeah, land data, then basically the gas companies basically are passing the power supply, then the satellite group basically are controlling the power supply. Actually how this everything is working, yeah, basically how the dangerous stuff basically is working basically, it's very dangerous basically, I'm telling you basically, it's very dangerous basically. I will take one example basically, when the computer boots basically, that time basically whenever the web browser basically gets in front of the screen basically, that time basically the user controls basically which are coming basically, that is coming from deriving from the thousands of cities basically power supply. It's directly not connected with the power supply, but its power supply is coming from the thousands of cities. So one person basically told that that is basically the gas format, right, basically. and it's a land basically. So land combination, gas combination, the satellites combination. So who is passing what basically? That is the data basically. Who is passing what? So that was the cost cutting basically. Somebody try to capture, and that somebody basically, the American group basically try to take that data basically. But the person basically who created the America basically, he exactly tracked that basically. The Chanakya group basically are very dangerous group basically. They basically immediately basically tracks anybody is trying to access the power, anybody is trying to know basically how the power is created, so they immediately basically keeps a track. So that person basically who tried to do the cost cutting, actually he was trying to decode the power supply basically, because he want to exactly know basically something basically, what something basically that that person only basically might be knowing. So here one of the person tells that here basically who is passing what data basically. One person told that land basically is passing what data. The gas supply basically, which is the energy group basically, who are basically doing the process of the entire data basically, they are passing the data to the each and every house basically. What actually they are passing? The satellite group basically, what they are doing basically with these two basically. But they have to connect the land also basically. Why? Because power supply is created by the human basically. So they basically can't trust fully with the human group basically. So they have to connect with the land also basically. But they might be not be connecting to the land. Why? Because they are the earth planet people only basically. So they will trust the human basically. But in really basically they are not supposed to trust. They have to take the land data also basically. So one of the person told that, yeah, what data basically who are passing basically, which type of data basically they are passing basically. So one person told that earth planet basically people basically their investment basically is at which side basically. So they told that basically blood cells creation and blood cells creation are equal to cities basically. So they have to concentrate on this only basically, and they are concentrating on this only. So the gas companies basically, that is the energy format group basically group, energy companies, nuclear power company, they are doing this much process only basically. They are not going up to land level basically. They are not going up to land level. But when the data is passed through the power supply, sorry, to the house and to the power supply, that time basically the land comes into the picture. So one of the person told that, is it basically this integration basically ongoing of the system basically ongoing? And here basically the satellite group basically are controlling the land data, each and every city's data, and basically the nuclear power company and energy data. So one of the person told that, what is satellite basically? So one person told that satellite equal to 100 city power. As in that basically in this world basically there are 1 lakh city. So 1 lakh city basically are divided with 20,000 power supplies. Sorry, 20,000 satellites basically. 20,000 satellites basically. So that 20,000 satellite group basically are handling the world basically. Handling the world. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic, and the topic is PHP basically, and up to what level basically the PHPs are connected. One line of code basically, for example this one line, or basically this one line, it is connecting to the physical location, it is connecting to the physical city area basically. This basically has been created somewhere in the city basically, this one line basically. So in next video basically we are going to see.